Welcome back. So we have seen what is HTML, particularly what is meant by hypertext in HTML. In today's lesson we will write our first HTML file, and as with any other programming language, we will start our HTML by creating a simple HTML file containing just two words, hello world. Okay, so for creating an HTML file, you can use any of the text editors available in your laptop or desktop. I'm using Linux, so in my Linux desktop I have text editor here, and this is the same thing you have used for creating your C program in the second semester. So the same text editor you can use for writing HTML file also. So I have opened a blank document. I'll start by writing the first line of our HTML document, and it is like this: less than doc type HTML, and this exclamation doc type HTML is put inside less than symbol and a greater than symbol. Every HTML tag will be having this format. It will be placed between an a less than symbol and a greater than symbol. So this line means the document or HTML document that we are going to create uses an HTML version 5. HTML has different versions, and the current version of HTML is HTML5. Okay, so this line indicates that the document type of our document, which is about to come in the coming lines, uses HTML version 5. So you just have to mention doc type HTML. So this indicates that our document is HTML5. Okay, don't forget this exclamation mark. This is mandatory, and less than symbol and a greater than symbol. Now we will save this HTML file. I'll create a new folder for saving my HTML programs or HTML files. Create, and I'll name my HTML file as hello world, and the condition here is that every HTML document should have an extension of .html. You know what is the extension of a C program, right? It is .c. So similarly, every HTML document should have an extension of .html. So I have written hello world.html and click on save button. Now you can see the color of the text has been changed. And the next line of our HTML document is this one. So every HTML document begins with an HTML tag. So this is known as a tag in HTML world. Okay, so in particular, this is an opening tag. So every HTML file starts with an HTML opening tag, and every HTML file ends with a closing HTML tag. So the closing HTML tag is written like this: less than flat HTML. So this is the closing HTML tag. And this opening and closing tag pair is known as an element in HTML. So what we have created here is we have created an HTML element, and every HTML document that you are going to create in this course will have this tag, because it begins with HTML and ends with /HTML. Okay, so this is our first tag. So whenever I am writing an opening tag, if it has a closing tag, I will write it immediately on the next line so that I won't forget it at a later point. So it is better to write an opening tag and a closing tag next to each other, then go to the first line, press the enter button, and write whatever you want in between that. Okay, so the next tag we are going to create is called a head tag, and this is the opening head tag, and the closing head tag is /head. And this head tag contains what you call a metadata. Metadata means data about data. So you can say that it will contain some information about the actual contents inside our document. Okay, so that's it. That is what is known as a metadata, data about data. For example, we will use one metadata here, and that is title. So the opening title tag is closed with the closing title tag. Hope you are following the opening and closing pairs. Opening tag is like this one. Closing tag, we will put a slash symbol before the title. Okay, there are no spaces between anything between the slash and title. Just write it as it is. And inside this title element, you can write, for example, welcome to HTML. So up to now, how many elements are there in this document? 3. One HTML element. Inside that HTML element there is a head element, and inside the head element there is a title element. Each element will have an opening tag and a closing tag and some contents. Okay, so for the HTML element, this is the opening tag, this is the closing tag, and what are the contents? This is the content for HTML element. For head, this is the opening, this is the closing, and this is the content. And for title, this is the opening, this is the closing, and this is the content. Okay, so we will stop here for the head tag. There are many other metadata like title, but for this simple example, we will stop here. We will use only one title metadata. Okay, and after head, there is one more tag, that is known as a body tag, and the closing tag is slash body. So we have now a body element, and inside body element I am writing hello world and some exclamation mark. So that's it. With this we have come to the end of our first HTML file. So how to view this in a browser? As I mentioned in the previous session, we will write our HTML file using any text editor, and we can view that using any of the browsers. In this desktop I have Google Chrome installed, so I will be displaying everything in Google Chrome. Okay, so saving this program, saving this HTML file once more. I'll go to my desktop and open the folder, and inside the documents I have HTML. There you can see my file hello world. If you right click on that, you can say open with Google Chrome. Clicking on that, there you go. That is the first output of our HTML document. Let's compare this one. This is our program. I will make this. Look closely, we have written many lines here, but you are seeing only one line here. So that's what HTML is. HTML is a markup language. For marking up you have to put many things, but the content will be only very less. Why it is called a markup language? Because this is a marking of what? This marks the beginning of an HTML document, and this marks the end of an HTML document. This marks the head of a document, and this marks the end of a head. So like that, this marks the beginning of the body, and this marks the end of the body. That is why it is not a hypertext markup language. So this hello world comes here in the body part. So in a browser, you closely follow my mouse pointer, this part is the body part, and this part above the body part is called the head part. I mean, I cannot say like that. Head part actually contains metadata, but the metadata that we have written here is title. If you see here, the title appears in this part, in the top portion of our browser. So if I change my title to HTML5, how can I view that change in my browser? For that you have to save this file, but again it is not changed. You have to reload this page, and for reload you have this button here, or you can press the F5 key in the keyboard. So Now it has been changed to welcome to HTML5. And if I change my content to hello world, just one exclamation mark, save the file, reload the page. Now it has been changed. So this is our first HTML example. Hope you have got all the tags mentioned here. So remember, every HTML document begins with this thing indicating the version of our HTML, and this line says that our version is HTML5, and the tags used in this example are HTML, head, title, body. Every tag used in this example has a closing tag, and a pair of opening and closing tag along with its contents are known as an HTML element. Okay, so what is the head element of this one? This one. What is the title element of this one? This one. Okay, so this is how we will write our HTML file, and you can say that this is the actual code and this is how the browser will render it. Okay. I hope you remember that any HTML page you can right click and say what? View page source. Okay, so this is our code. We have our source code here. I will close this thing. And then if I right click here and view page source, you can see that here. The same thing that you have written in the text editor. So since our HTML, this example is very simple, this looks very clean and tidy, but in the case of our Google or Wikipedia page, you have seen that it is very large file. It has many contents on it. So that's it. With this we have come to the end of the session. We will see much more complicated examples using HTML in the upcoming sessions. Thank you.